Israel stands at the head of the executive boardroom, his laptop connected to the projector, 6 months of work distilled into 43 slides that represent the most comprehensive strategic analysis he's ever produced. The mahogany table stretches before him, 11 executives in expensive suits arranged around it like judges at a tribunal. He's presenting the restructuring proposal the CEO personally commissioned, a complete operational overhaul designed to stop the company's mysterious quarterly losses. He's 14 minutes into the presentation, explaining the supply chain inefficiencies he's identified, when the CFO, Margaret Chin, makes a sound halfway between a scoff and a laugh. She closes her laptop with a decisive click that echoes through the room. "This is amateur hour," she says to no one in particular, then stands and walks toward the door. Israel pauses mid-sentence, confused, waiting for her to explain. She doesn't. She just leaves. For a moment, the room is silent except for the hum of the projector. Then the COO stands. Then the VP of Operations. One by one, like a choreographed performance, all 11 executives gather their things and file out of the boardroom. No explanation. No questions. No discussion. They simply leave Israel standing there, his hand still raised mid-gesture toward a slide about procurement optimization, his voice dying in his throat. The last executive out is the CEO, Richard Morrison. As he passes Israel, he whispers, not even attempting to be subtle, to the executive beside him. "He's out after this quarter. Make it clean." The words are meant to be heard, meant to deliver a message. Israel stands frozen as the door closes, leaving him alone in a room that suddenly feels enormous. His heart is pounding. His hands are shaking. 6 months of 14-hour days, of data analysis and strategic planning, dismissed in 14 minutes. He's about to disconnect his laptop when something appears on the projector screen, an email notification that pops up over his slides. It's not his email. Someone must have screened their phone or tablet during the presentation, and the notification is still displaying. The subject line is visible. "Kill Israel's proposal before he gets too close." Sender, Margaret Chin. Recipient, Richard Morrison. Israel's jaw goes tight. His fingers move before his brain fully catches up, pulling out his phone and photographing the screen. The notification disappears after a few seconds, but he's got it. Evidence. Proof that this wasn't about his presentation quality. This was something else entirely. The boardroom door bursts open. Margaret Chin storms back in, her face flushed. "The projector." She starts, then sees Israel still standing there. Her eyes flick to the screen, now just showing his slides again, then to his phone in his hand. "What are you doing?" Her voice is sharp, accusatory. "Nothing," Israel says, his own voice steadier than he expected. "Just packing up." He closes his laptop with deliberate calm, unplugs the cables, and walks out while she rushes to the projector control panel, frantically trying to access the projection history. Israel makes it back to his cubicle before his phone rings. HR. His stomach drops. "Israel, this is Patricia from Human Resources. We need you to come down to conference room 3B immediately. A performance concern has been filed regarding today's presentation." A performance concern. Filed minutes after the walkout. They're not even trying to be subtle. The HR meeting is brief and chilling. Patricia, normally warm and professional, is cold and scripted. "Multiple executives have expressed concerns about your judgment, your data analysis methodology, and your communication skills. They're recommending immediate placement on a performance improvement plan." Israel knows what that means. A PIP is corporate code for "we're building a legal case to fire you." "Who filed the complaints?" he asks. Patricia's smile is thin, practiced. "That information is confidential. But Israel, between you and me." She leans forward, her voice dropping to something that sounds almost kind but isn't. "You might want to consider resigning before things get ugly. Save yourself the stress. We could frame it as pursuing other opportunities. Much cleaner." Israel walks out of that meeting knowing he's being pushed out, but not understanding why. His presentation was solid. He'd triple-checked every number, every recommendation, every source. The strategy was sound. So why the coordinated attack? Why the immediate HR action? Why the pressure to resign quietly? He needs someone who understands this company's underbelly. He needs Daniel. Daniel Okafor was Israel's mentor for 3 years, a senior director of strategy who'd taken Israel under his wing and taught him everything about corporate analysis. Then a year ago, Daniel abruptly resigned. No farewell party, no transition period. Just an empty desk and vague corporate speak about pursuing personal interests. Israel had tried to stay in touch, but Daniel had gone silent until now. They meet at a quiet coffee shop across town, away from anyone who might recognize them. Daniel looks older than Israel remembers, more tired. When Israel explains what happened, Daniel's expression shifts from concern to grim recognition. "They're doing to you what they did to me," Daniel says quietly. "Israel, those executives are running something on the side. A private initiative that diverts company funds into their own venture. I discovered it by accident during a routine audit last year." Israel's mind races. What kind of venture? Daniel pulls out his phone, shows Israel screenshots he'd saved. They created a shell company called Meridian Solutions. It's supposedly a consulting firm, but it's really just them billing our company for fake services and pocketing the money. Millions, Israel. Tens of millions over the past 5 years. "That's fraud," Israel breathes. Daniel nods. "Corporate fraud, money laundering, conspiracy. I threatened to expose them. They threatened to destroy me. They fabricated sexual harassment claims, falsified documents, made my life hell until I resigned just to make it stop." His voice cracks slightly. "I was going to fight it, but I have a family. Kids in college. I couldn't risk it." Israel's presentation. The comprehensive audit he'd proposed. The supply chain analysis that would have revealed duplicate vendor payments. The procurement restructuring that would have exposed shell companies. "I was going to find them," Israel realizes. "My proposal would have exposed everything." Daniel nods grimly. "You weren't ignored because you were wrong, Israel. You were ignored because you were too right. And now they're going to destroy you before you figure it out." Daniel reaches into his bag and pulls out a USB drive. "This is how they pushed me out. All the evidence I collected before I ran. I couldn't use it then. But maybe you can." Israel takes the USB with shaking hands, feeling its weight like it weighs 1,000 pounds. "What's on here?" Daniel's smile is sad. "Everything. And Israel? They already set up a scapegoat document with your name on it. When they push you out, they're planning to blame you for the missing funds." Israel sits in his apartment that night, his laptop open, the USB drive inserted. The files are meticulously organized. Daniel was always thorough. Financial statements showing duplicate payments to Meridian Solutions. Forged signatures on approval. Documents. Private Slack messages between the executives, casual and incriminating. Another quarter, another million into our pockets. This is too easy. One message from the CFO. Israel's audit might catch the Meridian payments. We need to kill his proposal before he digs deeper. But the worst discovery is a folder labeled contingency. Inside is a draft press release dated for next month. TechVision Incorporated discovers internal fraud, mid-level manager arrested for embezzlement. The press release names Israel Adagok as the perpetrator, claims he'd been stealing funds for 2 years, praises the executive team for their vigilance in catching him. It's already written, already planned. They're going to frame him, fire him, and possibly have him arrested. Israel feels physically sick. He's about to close his laptop when he notices another email notification on his phone. Subject: Mandatory meeting tomorrow. Topic: Israel's conduct. It's from HR, scheduled for 9 a.m. This is it. This is when they'll present their fabricated case and force him out. For a moment, Israel considers just running. Resigning tonight, taking Patricia's advice, getting out before they destroy him. But then he remembers the walkout, their smug faces, their casual cruelty, the whisper that he was already finished. Rage replaces fear. He's not going down quietly. If they want to destroy him, he'll make damn sure he takes them down with him. Israel needs more than Daniel's year-old evidence. He needs current proof, something undeniable and fresh. He texts Maya Okonkwo, an IT technician he'd helped on a project 6 months ago when her department was facing budget cuts. "I need a favor. Urgent. Are you free tonight?" Her response is immediate. "You saved my job. I owe you. What do you need?" They meet in the parking garage at 11 p.m. Maya listens to his explanation with growing alarm, then anger. "Those bastards. I always wondered about the Meridian invoices. They bypass normal IT security protocols." She thinks for a moment. The executives use a private server for sensitive communications. It's technically against company policy, but nobody questions them. "I can access it, but Israel, if we get caught." "I know," he says. "I'm not asking you to risk your job for me." Maya's expression hardens. They're stealing from this company and setting you up to take the fall. That's not just your fight anymore. Let's do this. The office building is mostly empty at midnight, just security guards doing rounds and a few workaholics in other departments. Maya and Israel slip into her IT workstation, and she starts navigating through systems Israel doesn't understand. "This is the executive server," she whispers, pulling up directories. "Jesus, Israel. Look at this. Hundreds of files. Years of communications about Meridian Solutions. Detailed records of diverted funds, $40 million over 5 years. Payment schedules. Distribution agreements showing how the 11 executives split the money. One folder is labeled Israel Contingency Plan and contains drafts of the documents that will frame him, complete with forged financial records showing him as the embezzler. Download everything," Israel whispers. Maya's fingers fly across the keyboard. Then she freezes. Someone else just logged into the server. From inside the building. Right now. They stare at the screen showing the new user's activity. Someone is accessing the same files they're viewing, deleting documents. "They're destroying evidence," Maya breathes. They know someone's looking. Footsteps echo in the hallway outside. Heavy, purposeful footsteps heading toward their location. Maya's eyes go wide. She frantically completes the download, 263 files copying to a secure drive, while Israel kills the monitor light. They crouch under the desk as the footsteps pass, pause, then move on. A security guard's radio crackles nearby. 5 agonizing minutes later, Maya whispers, "It's done. I've got everything. Let's get out of here." They slip out through a side exit, hearts pounding, carrying evidence that could either save Israel or get them both destroyed. The mandatory meeting is held in the same boardroom where Israel's presentation was destroyed. All 11 executives are present, arranged like a firing squad. Patricia from HR sits in the corner with her laptop, documenting everything. The CFO, Margaret, leads the attack with practiced precision. "Israel, we've discovered serious discrepancies in departmental fund allocation. Invoices were approved under your signature for services that were never rendered. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars." She slides a folder across the table. Inside are documents that look official: purchase orders, approval signatures, bank transfers. Israel's signature on every page. Forged, but expertly so. "These are fake," Israel says calmly, though his pulse is racing. "I never signed these." The COO shakes his head sadly. "Israel, we have the original documents. We have email confirmations from vendors. We have bank records showing the money left company accounts under your authorization. It's a complete setup. Every document carefully fabricated. Every detail designed to frame him as the thief while the real thieves sit across the table looking disappointed." The CEO clears his throat. "Given the severity of these accusations, we'll need to place you on immediate suspension pending investigation. Tomorrow, the board will vote on termination. I'm sorry, Israel. We expected better from you." Israel sits there, absorbing the performance. They're good at this. They've clearly done it before, probably to Daniel, probably to others. He says nothing, gives them nothing. Just nods and walks out. Let them think they've won. Let them believe he's broken. That night, Israel sits at his home desk, staring at his laptop screen. He drafts an email with a subject line that makes his hands shake. "Regarding your intended termination of my employment." He attaches all 263 files Maya extracted. Financial records, Slack messages, forged documents, the Meridian Solutions invoices, the contingency plan with his name on it. Everything. But he doesn't send it to the executives. That would give them time to spin, to destroy more evidence, to lawyer up. Instead, he adds a recipient list that shocks even him. The board of directors, the external auditors, the company's legal counsel, the media relations office, and, in a moment of pure rage-fueled brilliance, every single employee email address in the company directory. 1,500 people. All of them about to learn the truth. His finger hovers over the send button. Once he does this, there's no going back. His career at this company is over either way. But this way, he goes down fighting. This way, he takes them with him. He clicks send. The company's Slack explodes within minutes. Israel watches from home as channels erupt with messages. Did everyone just get that email from Israel? Holy shit. The executives are embezzling. Look at the attachments. These are real documents. I always wondered about those Meridian invoices. They were going to frame him? That's criminal. The board schedules an emergency meeting for 6 a.m. By 7 a.m., news has leaked to local business press. By 9 a.m., it's trending on LinkedIn. By noon, it's national news. Tech company rocked by executive fraud allegations. Israel's phone rings constantly, reporters, lawyers, colleagues, even former employees saying they suspected something was wrong for years. The board calls Israel in for a 3-hour interview. He walks into the conference room to find all 15 board members present, along with the company's outside counsel and a forensic auditor they've hired on emergency retainer. Israel calmly presents his evidence. Timelines showing how his audit proposal threatened the fraud scheme, screenshots of the executive's private communications, financial records proving the Meridian Solutions payments were fake, and most damning, the documents they'd prepared to frame him. The board members' expressions shift from skepticism to shock to fury. "You're saying 11 of our executives have been systematically defrauding this company for 5 years?" the board chair asks. "Yes," Israel confirms. "And they plan to blame me, fire me, and possibly have me arrested to cover it up." The forensic auditor examines the documents, runs preliminary checks on the Meridian Solutions payments, and confirms within an hour. These invoices are fraudulent. The services were never rendered. This is approximately $40 million in diverted funds. The board moves with speed that surprises Israel. The CFO is placed on immediate administrative leave. Her laptop is seized by the legal team. The CEO tries to spin it as a misunderstanding, claims he wasn't fully aware of the Meridian arrangements, but nobody believes him. One by one, the executives are suspended pending investigation. But a junior executive, someone Israel barely knows named Jennifer, sends him a private message. "They destroyed more evidence than you think. There's a second server with personal kickback records. If you find it, the entire thing collapses. But be careful, they're desperate now." Israel meets with Maya again, shows her Jennifer's tip about the second server. Maya's expression goes grim. "I suspected there might be another layer. The executives are too careful to keep everything in one place." She works through the night, tracing network traffic patterns and security logs. Finally, she finds it, a personal server maintained outside official IT infrastructure, probably on one of the executives' private property. "Accessing this risks my job," Maya says quietly. "If they trace the intrusion back to me, I'm done." Israel looks at her, this woman who's already risked so much to help him. "Don't do it." "I won't ask you to." She's already typing. "Those bastards have been stealing from this company, from the employees, from people who depend on their jobs here. Someone has to stop them. Let's finish this." The second server is a treasure trove of incrimination. Personal messages from the CFO admitting, "Israel's audit will ruin everything. We need to kill him professionally before he digs deeper." Payment schedules showing how the $40 million was distributed among the 11 executives. Property records for vacation homes purchased with stolen money. Even communications with their lawyers about how to frame Israel if their scheme was exposed. The board calls Israel back the next morning. They've completed a preliminary investigation and found everything he claimed. "Mr. Adagok," the board chair says formally, "on behalf of this company and its board of directors, we owe you an extraordinary apology. And our gratitude. What you've exposed is the most egregious case of corporate fraud any of us has encountered. All 11 executives are suspended pending criminal investigation. The CEO is removed immediately. The company retains a crisis management firm to handle the public fallout." And then the board chair looks at Israel with an expression of respect. "We'd like to offer you a position leading our new strategy division. Alternatively, you could serve as interim COO while we conduct restructuring. The choice is yours." Israel considers. This company tried to destroy him. These people enabled the corruption through neglect or incompetence. Why would he stay? But then he thinks about the 1,500 employees who weren't involved, who are just as much victims as he was. He thinks about people like Maya and Jennifer who risked themselves to help. He thinks about rebuilding something better from the ashes of what was broken. "I'll do it," he says. "But I need 3 things first. Public acknowledgement of what happened, no spinning, no PR cleanup. Protection for Maya and Daniel, and anyone else who helped expose this. And I want full authority to rebuild the culture from the ground up." The board agrees to all 3 conditions. The company's public statement is blunt and honest. TechVision Incorporated has discovered systematic fraud perpetrated by 11 members of our executive team over a 5-year period. These individuals have been suspended and are facing criminal investigation. We owe our discovery of this fraud to the courage and diligence of Israel Adagok, who risked his career to expose the truth. Mr. Adagok will be leading our restructuring efforts as we rebuild trust and integrity. The media calls it the most dramatic corporate betrayal of the year. Employees treat Israel like a hero, stopping him in hallways to thank him, sending emails of support, asking how they can help rebuild. Daniel reaches out to say he's considering returning now that the corruption is exposed. Maya is promoted to head of IT security with a mandate to prevent this kind of scheme from ever happening again. 10 days after the board meeting, Israel receives an email from the suspended executives. They've clearly coordinated their message through lawyers. Mr. Adagok, we believe there has been a significant misunderstanding. We would like to meet to discuss how we can continue working together moving forward. Given the complexities of corporate finance, we're confident we can reach an understanding that protects everyone involved. It's a thinly veiled attempt at negotiation, maybe bribery, maybe threats. They want to save their careers, their reputations, their freedom. They're hoping Israel will settle, stay quiet, make this go away. He reads the email twice, then writes a response so brief it's almost insulting. No. Face the consequences of your actions. He doesn't even bother signing it. A week later, Israel walks into his new office. Not a cubicle, but an actual office with windows overlooking the city. The nameplate on the door reads, Israel Adagok, Chief Operating Officer. He sits at the desk where executives who tried to destroy him once sat, surrounded by the authority they tried to deny him, and allows himself a small smile. His first executive meeting is that afternoon. The agenda appears on the screen, and Israel feels a surge of purpose as he reads the first item. Rebuild company culture from the ground up, integrity, transparency, accountability. The remaining executives, good people who weren't part of the fraud, watch him with respect and curiosity. They're waiting to see what kind of leader the man who exposed corruption will be. Israel thinks about the walkout that started all of this. 11 executives leaving his presentation in synchronized contempt, assuming he was too junior, too powerless, too insignificant to matter. He whispers to himself, quiet enough that no one else hears. You should never have walked out. Then he begins the meeting, his voice steady and confident, outlining a vision for a company rebuilt on truth instead of theft, on merit instead of manipulation, on courage instead of corruption. The story that began with humiliation ends with power, dignity, and complete catharsis. Israel didn't just survive, he transformed. And the executives who tried to destroy him? They're facing criminal charges while he's building the future they tried to steal. Sometimes justice isn't just served. Sometimes it's earned by the people brave enough to fight for it.